Good evening. I'm Michael Patterson, and this is Free Press TV. A new diplomatic signal has emerged from Tehran, but it comes as Washington moves deeper into military positioning across the Middle East. President Donald Trump said Saturday that he will review a new Iranian proposal after reports from Iranian state-linked media. These reports indicated that Iran submitted a 14-point response to a previous U.S. framework. At the same time, the United States has accelerated more than $8 billion in arms sales to regional partners. This includes Israel, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait. That means while diplomats are still talking, military deterrence is also being strengthened. According to Iranian reporting, the new response was delivered through Pakistan and is said to include 14 points. The proposal reportedly calls for a full end to military confrontation across multiple fronts, including Lebanon. It also calls for negotiations aimed at ending the conflict within 30 days, rather than extending a temporary ceasefire. Further points include the release of frozen Iranian assets, sanctions relief, and guarantees against future military strikes, and discussion of a new framework governing transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Kazim Garibabi said the proposal is intended to create a permanent end to the current crisis. President Trump responded by saying he would examine the proposal, but added he could not imagine it would be acceptable in its current form. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the most strategically important maritime corridors in the world. Roughly one-fifth of global petroleum liquids consumption moves through that narrow waterway, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. That makes any legal or military pressure there globally significant. Iranian state television reported that Parliament is preparing legislation that would impose new restrictions on vessels transiting the strait. Under the reported framework, Israel-linked vessels would be barred. Ships from what Iran calls hostile countries could face reparations requirements. Commercial vessels may require authorization before passage. If enacted, such measures would raise concerns not only in Washington but across energy markets in Europe and Asia, where energy security depends heavily on uninterrupted maritime flows. While negotiations continue, Washington has accelerated regional arms approvals. The reported package includes air defense systems for Kuwait and Qatar and laser-guided rockets for Israel and United Arab Emirates. This matters because it signals the United States is pursuing dual-track policy. Keep diplomacy open while reinforcing military leverage. That is often how negotiations are shaped in periods of high strategic tension. The pressure is not only diplomatic. Brad Cooper, commander of United States Central Command, visited forces aboard the USS Tripoli in the Arabian Sea. That visit comes as the United States continues pressure operations affecting maritime access connected to Iranian ports. In strategic terms, this means military assets remain forward-positioned even while negotiations continue. Another important development, President Trump said the United States may reduce troop levels in Germany beyond the previously announced 5,000 personnel. That matters because Ramstein Air Base is one of the most important American operational hubs in Europe. It supports airlift, aeromedical evacuation, regional command logistics, and NATO coordination. A larger reduction would signal a broader strategic review of U.S. force posture not just in the Middle East, but across allied theaters. Despite ceasefire declarations, Israel Defense Forces and Hezbollah exchanged strikes again Saturday. That matters because any diplomacy between Washington and Tehran cannot be viewed in isolation. The region remains interconnected. Pressure in Lebanon, maritime tension in the Strait of Hormuz, and negotiations between Washington and Tehran are now part of the same strategic picture. Right now, both sides appear to be testing leverage before deciding whether serious negotiations are possible. Iran is signaling diplomacy but from a position of pressure. Washington is reviewing proposals while strengthening military alliances and forward deployments. That does not yet mean peace. It means the bargaining phase has intensified. The next few days could be critical. If the new proposal opens a credible path forward, the region may move toward escalation. If not, one of the world's most sensitive energy corridors could become the next center of confrontation. I'm Michael Patterson and this is Free Press TV. Stay informed, stay aware, and remember truth has no agenda.